Hi, it's Richard Silver, and I'm from the Silver Burtnick and Associates team at Sotheby's International Realty Canada. I have with me somebody I've known for a number of years and somebody who's very pertinent in today's discussion around COVID-19 and things that are happening and how the mortgage business is doing. Her name is Darlene Hanley, and she heads the Hanley Group. And I just thought I would ask her some questions. Good morning, Darlene. How are you?
Good morning. Everything's great. My team and I are all in our own homes working. We haven't stopped working, so it's great. We can still communicate with each other and with the world out there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can do now when you have the access to everything online,
Yes.
et cetera, et cetera. It is a wonderful option that we have in today's world. And I even have I'm lucky enough to have the Northern Lights behind me just there. They just appeared one afternoon on Zoom. So, I'll do what I can to get rid of that in the next next cast. Okay, so let me ask you some questions. So what's happening out there? What's the latest and greatest? What's the big news under these circumstances?
So we're still, it's almost like business like usual for us. We are working remotely. Luckily, our team, we are already set up at home remotely. Everybody has their laptops, 2 screens. We just kind of did that anyway. We've been doing that for a long time. So for us to just all of a sudden be at home and not be in the office together, it works out fine for us. Now with our clients, right now, what we're trying to do is finish all the appraisals we already have, all the purchases we have on the go right now, all the refinances, anything like that. We're going through our pipeline and just making sure that all the conditions have been satisfied and the appraisals are done. Do you want to talk about appraisals?
Yeah, tell me about that. What's happening with appraisals?
What's happening
I've heard some interesting things.
Yeah, so they're still going on. They are not going in the homes unless it's vacant. But right now they're doing a walk around. If the homeowner is okay with that, they'll do a walk around. They're not doing any interior photos any longer. Some lenders are allowing the homeowner to send a video of the home inside or certain pictures to the appraiser, and then the appraiser will upload those pictures instead of the appraiser taking them himself.
Yeah, I heard that one agent was asked to verify that the photos that were being used in the marketing actually were of the home, et cetera, and that all of those, all the things that were in the marketing materials appeared. So
that's right. The lenders want to make sure that the pictures came from that home, home. So they do have to just indicate where the pictures came from.
So but lenders are still lending, which is really important.
Yes, lenders are still lending. The turnaround time is a little slower because all of we work on the broker side, so all of the underwriters are working from their homes. So we can't call them directly; they have to call us because their numbers are blocked. Most of the communication is done over email. But everything is still going on exactly as we were, except the turnaround times. We can't do a rush closing anymore. Like everything is taking a bit longer.
Now, if I have to sign my mortgage, how can I do that? Do I go to my lawyer and sign the mortgage, and can I do it electronically?
Yeah, most lenders will let us do it electronically, so you can do DocuSign.
Great.
There were a few that still were not allowing it, and then clients had to go find a printer and then scan it. You can download the tiny scanner on your phone and they can scan it through the phone. But most lenders now are adopting the DocuSign.
Perfect. So they're adopting. Okay, so we've got a new normal, or a new abnormal, as I call it, out there. So tell me about what are the things that I should be thinking about. Let's say I want to stay in my home, and I'm thinking because of debt, whatever, is it a good time to refinance, and how do I go about that?
So it is a good time to refinance if you're still working. So as long as you're not laid off, we cannot send in a new mortgage request if you're laid off. So we need documents now up front. Most lenders are asking for the income documents up front before they'll even look at the mortgage request.
So let me just ask you a question about that. What happens is if I apply through you, and we get our bank approval, and then about a week before the closing, I lose my job.
Yes. Yes, so that it could happen actually. So
Yeah.
lenders are sending out reports. What they're doing is they're looking at it case by case. It depends when you purchased the house. If you purchased it and had everything approved and you waived conditions before the outbreak, then they're going to look at what your situation is. Are you temporarily laid off? Will you be going back? What do you think the circumstances will be in the next 3 months? So it's really case by case right now.
Great.
And I've heard from some lenders that they will be calling the employment letter right up until closing. So if
So,
if
no,
I've
no, go
heard,
ahead.
yeah, if I've heard from one of our clients that they were laid off, I am to tell the bank, because we don't want any surprises, and
No.
they want to make sure they can, still pay their payment and how long they're going to be laid off. So it is case by case right now.
Okay, so I'm out there and I'm shopping around, and one of the things I've always loved about you and working with you for so long is I don't have to go in and see you face to face and sit down. You've always had a mobile business.
Always.
So
Yes.
all I have to do is get the right documentation to you, and then you'll get the approvals, and that's one of the things that's great about you. So are you able to keep people in touch with what's happening? I know I get a newsletter from you, but
Yes.
do you mind if I give your email address out?
No, go ahead. We send it out to our whole database.
Oh.
So we send out a newsletter, and we send out rates to our realtor associates. But if anybody has information, please give out our email, and I'll pass along any information.
And your email is Darlene?
Darlene at darlenehanley.com. It's my name.
Okay. And the website is the Hanley Group, I believe.
Yeah, you can. It's hanleymortgagegroup.com or darlenehanley.com. It'll be directed right to our website.
I'll add those two things to this presentation.
Okay,
so what do you think? What do you think the forecast is going to be as far as rates are concerned? Everybody, I think, is wanting to know what's going to be the next step.
The rates have increased a little bit. The bond market has increased, so the fixed rates have increased. They're up around 3%. Maybe a little over 3%, depending, if you're buying high ratio, conventional, over $1 million, under $1 million, less than 20% down. So the rates do vary, but right now they're somewhere from, I'd say, 2.59 to 3.29, depending on what you're buying. So they're still very, very low.
Yeah.
The Bank of Canada, again, decreased the prime. But the lenders have taken off the discounts. Before, we were getting prime minus 75 basis points or prime minus 1%, 100 basis points. Now it's prime plus 20, prime plus 5, prime plus 10. Like, you're not getting those discounts off of prime any longer because prime is so low.
Now, what's happening with the stress test?
That's on hold. So the stress test, the amendment to the stress test. The amendment to the stress test, so we're still doing the old stress, like the stress test that we're doing, approving on the qualifying rate being the Bank of Canada posted rate, which is 5.04. But the amendment that was going to happen at the beginning of April is on hold. So we're still just doing the old stress test.
You have to do the old stress test to do it. Okay, that's great. And anything else that you can think of that you want to tell our viewers here?
For sure. I would say, honestly, if you're still purchasing, there's still a lot of listings going on. I see new listings coming out all the day. Just make sure you are pre-approved upfront, and get your employment letters, pay stubs, the down payment documents up front, because lenders now are wanting everything up front to make sure you qualify before they start working on your application. So if you can, some people can't get the job letter quick enough, but they have a current pay stub. So I need at least a current pay stub, and then you have the down payment. And rentals, some lenders, for if you are buying an investment property, they want the appraisal up front with market rents. So ahead of time. All right, so make sure you have everything before you just jump into an offer. Make sure you're qualified, you're not laid off, and you send everything up front.
Now, a lot of my clients who may be watching this used to work with David Smith. And what's that relationship like?
So David and I still work together. David really works on private funding now. So anybody needing private money. So if you you know, you need a temporary a mortgage behind your first mortgage if you don't qualify with the bank or a B lender and you need some private funds. That's what David's all about and is a specialist with that. So
you think we're going to get
we
back
still
into,
have money.
do you think we're going to get back into vendor take backs to sell?
Oh boy, I don't know. It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, it's just, I'll explain it to you very quickly for those who are watching. If I wanted to facilitate the sale of my property, I may, as a seller, take back a mortgage, a second mortgage. So let's say I took it back for $400,000 to facilitate the sale and get the price I wanted, but then I could take it to a third party, a private lender, and maybe get $375,000 in cash today, or $350,000 in cash. And we used to call that the vendor take back to sell. There was a time when it facilitated almost every second sale we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't done one of those. Oh, boy. And remember, if you're doing a vendor take back, to get the first mortgage, the lender has to see that you have the down payment, and
right.
they you know, they have to approve that. So that's not a common thing. So we want to talk about that before you do that.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. Years and years and years ago, there's a new agent who came into our office, and I had a listing, and he came with an offer, and it was to assume the first mortgage and vendor take back the second mortgage, but it was also conditional on financing. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, well, if you're assuming the first and you're asking the vendor to take back the second, why do you need to, you know, have a conditional? He said, well, buyer's not really sure where he's getting the down payment.
Yeah.
Thank God that did not go through. Anyways, Darlene, thanks again. I really appreciate all this information. And
we are here. We're here for you. We're open. The phone comes to my cell, so it's just the one line right now. So, but we're making it work.
So any time of the day or night, they can call you.
Pretty well.
Okay. Well, thanks, Darlene. I mean, you've always been my girl for a long time, and I really appreciate all the work you do for us and everybody at Sotheby's International Realty Canada. So I just wanted to say thank you again. It's great to see you, and you know, it's a tough time.
Like to see everybody in person soon.
I know. Okay, let's hope.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks again.
Take care.
Thanks again.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.